But you want to do a company?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Yeah, okay, let's jump into Intel. Intel's in the news today. We'll go over the numbers. Chase will explain a little bit more about the news item that they had today. But Intel, symbol INTC, semiconductor industry, 2.8% shares float. We do see no PE ratio because they've had no earnings over the last year. Industry, 60.8% or 60.8, very high. Price of sales, 2 versus 13.4, so Intel better there. Price of book value, 1.1 versus 11.3. Price of cash flow for Intel looks good, 10.6 versus 36. And the PEG ratio looking pretty good for Intel, 1.6 versus 22. Now, last year, even the last 5 years, Intel shows no earnings. We do see sales for Intel last year down 3.7%. I don't get this one. Well, maybe I can because the earnings are so low. But the 5-year EPS growth from the analysts, 102.4%. So they're expecting earnings to grow quite nicely. Intel does not pay a dividend any longer. They cut that dividend, I think, last year. I think it was, wasn't it?
Last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah. Current ratio, 1.2. That's okay. Debt to equity, 0.5. That's okay. Net profit margin, a negative 38.6%. They need to make a profit. We do see that they also have return on equity of a negative 20.9. Just looking kind of sick here as far as the numbers go for Intel.
Yeah, I did look it up. It looks like their dividend was actually about a year ago. Looks like August 6th, 2024 was the last dividend they paid. Looking at the current price, though, for Intel, again, their ticker symbol is INTC. It's $24.56, 52-week range. The low here is $17.67, and the high $27.55. This has not been a good performer over the last 5 years. It is down about 49.8%. Last 10 years, down about 10%. So it's definitely struggled, to say the least. And unfortunately, I mean, it's crazingly still expensive.
Yeah.
And I say that because you go out to December 2026, estimated earnings per share of 66 cents, give you a target sell of $10.96. Now, the hope is that they can get back on track and get that earnings growth because obviously they had no earnings. This year, they're looking for 13 cents. Next year, 66 cents. So that's a 417% gain. That's why the 5-year estimated growth is so high, is because you're starting off such a low base. But
and what concerns me is what you're going to talk about, where the government wants to actually hold stock in it.
Yeah, I mean, that just blew me away. I was very surprised, to see the government announce interest potentially. And it lifted Intel stock. I think they were up 7% after the news, and then another 3-4% on Friday. And yeah, the government said that they were in talks to buy a stake in Intel, which would help fund factories Intel is building in Ohio. And I have such mixed feelings on it because we need to be building chips here in the U.S. Right. But if we are controlling or having the government be involved in private businesses, how is it any different than Huawei in China?
Oh, exactly. And I believe the Biden administration, didn't they give them a couple $1 billion?
Like 7.68 billion, somewhere in there is a good amount of money.
Right. And I would rather have the government give them money than actually get into the equity business of these companies. And I will say the current administration, I think they're kind of getting a little bit too business oriented to kind of be in businesses, talking about Goldman Sachs, talking about who's the CEO they want to get rid of too. He said they need to.
That was Intel. Yeah,
was Intel.
But then he flipped and he said he's got a great success story after he met with him. At least he's malleable and can change his mind, I guess. But
even before that, you shouldn't be. I don't care what the president says about a certain CEO, what that CEO is doing.
I don't think it's the government's role right now to be investing. We don't have capital to invest. We have so mumuch debt that it's like somebody taking all this credit card debt to go buy stocks.
Yeah.
I mean, we should not be buying cryptocurrency. We should not be buying stocks. I just
run the government.
I think it's a very slippery slope, and especially then as a private company, what does that mean for the stock? Does that mean you got to buy? I think there's just too much speculation.
Yeah, I agree with you.